What is the first thing you think of when you think of Dr. Octopus in Marvel Contest of Champions? Probably power control, right? I don't blame you. Dr. Octopus has long been a prime counter to many different fights that demand strong power control, but do you really know how his power control actually works? How to manipulate it so that you can have the maximum amount of control over a fight? This is my full breakdown of Dr. Octopus. I'll be walking you through every single piece of his underrated kit and showing you how to use it properly. Now before we start, I must let you know that Dr. Octopus is not going to be a champion that you use as a primary damage dealer, or main path clearer, or main alliance quest / alliance war attacker. He's just not that sort of champion. Rather, he's someone with a specific kit that you'll use not all the time, but enough to make him worthy of every single catalyst you invest into him. Now if you're a new player to Dr. Octopus, you're probably going to be very overwhelmed when first reading his abilities, because there's a lot to them, and there's a lot to interpret. So I'll do my best to explain how his research mechanic works and how to take full advantage of it, as well as all the other abilities. Also, just so you know, I am assuming for all aspects of this video that you'll be using an awakened Dr. Octopus, because that gives him the most flexibility in his fights, and since I don't have an unawakened Oct to test, I'll just be showing gameplay from my awakened rank 5 5-star, who is Sig 200. But just so you know, a max Sig Doc Ock is not needed at all. His Sig ability scales quite poorly after Sig 20, and I'd only recommend Sigging him up if you have spare stones, or if you really want to become a serious Doc Ock player. Alright, so research. This is the core of Doc Ock's kit, so understanding how his research works will go a long way to success when using him. Now there are 3 categories. Biology, which is the green heart-shaped icon. Chemistry, which is the purple beaker icon. And physics, which is the yellow nuclear icon. Now each of these categories scales from 0 up to 100. Now when he's awakened, Dr. Octopus will start with 60 in all 3 of these categories. Each research stays at the current level for 10 seconds before it drops off by 25 at a time. Whenever you gain research in a category, that 10-second timer resets. The first category to reach 100 will trigger a 5-second breakthrough, which is in the form of a buff or debuff. When that effect expires, all research resets back to 0. We'll explore those special effects separately, as well as each category's scaling effect. So the first category we'll look at is biology. So this is the green heart icon on the left, and the way you build research in this category is by landing hits, or getting hit as well. So you get 12 points in biology from every hit that strikes the opponent, whether that's a medium attack, a light attack, a heavy attack, or a special attack, it doesn't matter. Any hit raises biology by 12. Hits into block don't count, they actually have to be landed hits. Now if you get hit, which obviously you don't want to do, you'll gain 20 in biology research for each hit. Now each category has a scaling effect, which is something that gets stronger as the research category gets stronger. Each scaling effect is invisible. It won't actually show as a buff or passive icon. These are just effects that you'll need to remember because they come with the research. The scaling effect for biology is Fury. For my rank 5 5-star, Dr. Octopus gains up to 2098 additional attack, which is equivalent to his base attack, depending on how strong the biology category is. This gives him a total of 4196 base attack when biology is maxed out. And it is very easy to keep biology at 100 for an entire fight. When he starts the fight with 60 in biology, he gains an extra 1259 attack, because that's 60% of 2098, right? Do you see how that works? Now, the breakthrough for biology is an armor up buff. Remember, the breakthrough triggers for the first category to reach 100. So if you get biology to 100 first, you'll trigger an armor up buff for 5 seconds, giving you 2100 armor, which takes his 20% armor rating to about 56%. Now, 5 seconds doesn't sound very impressive right now, but later I'll explain how to extend the length of your breakthroughs. For now, I just need you to be familiar with how biology is gained, what the scaling effect is, and what the breakthrough does. So, the next category is chemistry. This is the purple icon in the middle. The way to build research in this category is by blocking, or parrying. You'll gain 10 research for a regular blocked hit, and 40 for a well-timed block, or a parry. This means if you parry at the start of the fight, you'll automatically reach a breakthrough in chemistry. because you start the fight with 60 in chemistry, and then parrying gives you 40 more for a total of 100. Now the scaling effect for chemistry is an insanely powerful one. For my rank 5 5-star, you get up to 2100 additional block proficiency, depending on your research in chemistry. And this is very easy to maintain, because as long as you can land a parry every 10 seconds while your breakthrough is active, it'll be at 100 for the whole fight. You can also gain 40 in chemistry for any well-timed block, whether that's a well-timed block against a special attack or any well-timed block against someone who's stun immune. As long as it's a well-timed block, you'll gain 40 in chemistry. So it's very easy to maintain 100. So in his base stats, it says that Otto has 3,576 block proficiency, which is 64.1%. Now, if you add on top the block proficiency from chemistry, that's a total of almost 6,700, which is 73.9%. And as of right now, recording this video, June 2021, that's 5th out of every 5-star in the game. 5th. That's stronger than Doom. That's stronger than Cosmic Ghost Rider. Stronger than Professor X. The only champs that are stronger than him, block proficiency wise, are Red Skull, Captain America Infinity War, OG Captain America, and Cap World War 2. So it's pretty insane. Now, the breakthrough for chemistry is a heal block debuff on the opponent. Now, just like the armor up buff for reaching a breakthrough in biology, this heal block also lasts for 5 seconds, and there is a very simple way to extend that for the entire length of a fight, which we'll talk about soon. But for now, just be familiar with how chemistry is gained, which is blocking or parrying, what the scaling effect is, the block proficiency, and what the breakthrough does, the heal block. Now, last but by no means least is physics. This is the research where Doc Ock really shines. Now, you build up research in physics from the opponent gaining power. This is most easily achieved by just throwing 5-hit combos. Now, given the combat power rate is slightly different depending on rank, the numbers here can be slightly confusing, assuming you're fighting a champ with... If you assume we're fighting a champ with no modification to their combat power rate, when fighting a rank 3 champ, for example a rank 3 6-star opponent in war, Doc Ock will gain 14 in physics for each medium attack and 9 for each light attack. But for a rank 4 champ, such as rank 4 6-stars that you see in Act 7, or a rank 5 champ, like rank 5 5-star, rank 5 6-star, it doesn't matter, Otto will gain 15 in physics for each medium attack and 10 for each light attack. Now this is a very small difference, but it can be a factor when using Doc Ock, because the build-up of physics usually aligns with the build-up of biology, because you gain physics by giving the opponent power, and you gain biology by hitting the opponent. Now sometimes this means you'll reach a breakthrough in biology when you wanted to reach a breakthrough in physics. This is more common when using an unawakened Dr. Octopus, but it is still something you need to be careful of, especially when fighting champions like Havoc or Psylocke that have a reduced combat power rate. The scaling effect for physics is special attack reduction of the opponent, up to 50%. Now you won't notice this one very often, because when the opponent is power locked, which we'll get to soon, they're not going to have many specials to throw. But if you combine this with the insane block proficiency from his chemistry research, Otto is very tanky against unavoidable specials. The breakthrough effect for physics is much more important though, because it places a 5-second power lock debuff on the opponent. Just like the heal block, there is a very simple way to extend this debuff to make it last for the whole fight. But we'll talk about that a bit later. So now you should be familiar with how to gain research in all 3 categories, what the scaling effect is, and also what the breakthrough effect is. Now I've created a short Kahoot where you can test your knowledge on all of this information. Don't cheat, don't read his abilities, try and memorize this. Because it's all important for improving your gameplay with him. Now I'll put a link down in the description to the Kahoot website, so just go there and search Dr. Octopus Research to test yourself. Now take note that this quiz will only cover the information up to this point in the video, which means this will just be about Doc Ock's research in his base kit, not the stuff in his signature ability. His sig ability is what we're going to talk about next. Now remember, that for this whole video I'm going to be assuming that your Dr. Octopus is awakened, because that grants him the most versatility, and I don't, as of right now, have an unawakened Otto to compare my awakened one to. For the fights where Doc Ock really shines, you're going to be relying on his signature ability. Now, we already covered the first part of his signature ability, which is at the start of the fight, all of Doc Ock's research categories start at 60, meaning you can reach a breakthrough in chemistry from one parry, or alternatively reach a breakthrough in physics in just 4 hits. Meaning you can power lock most opponents before they even reach their first bar of power, which is extremely powerful. The only other champ with that immediate of power control would be Dormammu, but I know which one I'd pick out of those two. Now, the other part of Doc Ock's Sig ability has to do with his breakthrough effects. The Sig ability basically changes what the breakthrough effects are. Now, don't worry, it's not a big change, but it is something you'll need to learn and understand. You'll still receive the same buffs or debuffs, those being the power lock debuff from physics, the heal block debuff from chemistry, and the armor up buff from biology, but they all operate slightly differently now. The armor up buff from biology now also gives auto armor penetration, which is, it says 863. That's about 30% armor penetration for max Sig. It's about 20% for Sig 20, which isn't bad at all. But for most Doc Ock fights, you're really not going to want to trigger the biology breakthrough that much. It's definitely the least impactful. Now, the chemistry breakthrough changes from a flat heal block to a very nice lifesteal mechanic. Whenever the opponent would gain health, the heal block debuff immediately takes that health away through direct damage, and auto steals a portion of that to feed his own health. He steals about 18% at Sig 20 and 25% at Sig 200. Now, unfortunately, as of recording this video, this is actually bugged and the lifesteal isn't working. It's just being treated as a regular heal block. This was because of a change to his kit a few months ago to make him work for one of the Cav EQ nodes. So right now, he can't lifesteal, but hopefully that gets fixed soon. The final breakthrough from the physics category changes the power lock debuff to a power steal mechanic. This operates in a similar way to the chemistry breakthrough. Whenever the opponent would gain power while power locked, that power immediately gets drained and auto steals a portion of that power, approximately 8% at Sig 20 and 15% at Sig 200. Now that's why you see the opponent's power meter constantly fluctuating in a Doc Ock fight. Every time the opponent gains some power, Doc immediately takes it away, and he steals a tiny portion for himself. If you want to become a serious auto player, I'd definitely recommend investing stones to bump up the power steal percentage, because you'll definitely notice the difference higher up. However, for most matchups, having him at Sig 20 is perfectly fine. Doc Ock's Sig ability is probably the most confusing part about his kit, so it's really important that this makes sense to you. The main idea is that Doc Ock's power lock turns into a power steal mechanic, and his heal block turns into a health steal mechanic. So, by this point, you should be familiar with every aspect of Doc Ock's research, which, like I said before, is the core to his kit, and you're going to use that when fighting with him to make him extremely powerful, extremely tanky, and gain a lot of control over many fights. Now, let's quickly talk about his special attacks and his heavy attack, because each knockdown method does a very important thing, and to use Doc Ock to his full potential, you're going to be using all 4 in the fight. Now, first, let's look at Otto's heavy attack. What this does is it removes all active breakthroughs and deals direct damage for each one removed. So if you accidentally parry at the start of the fight and make a breakthrough in chemistry, activating a heal block, when you really wanted a breakthrough in physics, you can quickly throw a heavy attack and then try to reach a breakthrough in physics by giving the opponent some power. When you do detonate the breakthroughs, the research doesn't drop off, it still maintains its value, and even increases if it can. Doc Ock's heavy is an extremely important weapon, and knowing when to use it is crucial. Next, we'll look at the special 3, because that's usually the special attack that you're going to go for first in a typical auto fight. You're going to want to throw this while a breakthrough is active, because the special 3 lets you actually duplicate the breakthrough buff or debuff. This duplicate lasts for 15 seconds, 3 times as long as the original. The best breakthrough effect to make a duplicate of is the power lock debuff from the physics category, as that gives you a way to keep the opponent power locked for the entire fight, giving you so much control. You can also duplicate the heal block against champions that have lots of regen, which is a fine strategy. However, later I'll show you how you can keep an opponent power locked and heal blocked at the same time. Now, also be aware that after the special 3 animation ends, you'll have 2 copies of the same breakthrough on the opponent. The first one is the original 5-second breakthrough that you got for making the breakthrough in that research by reaching 100. And then the second one is the extended duplicate from the special 3. Now, once the 5-second breakthrough wears off, all of your research will reset, because that's how auto works. When a breakthrough expires, all of your research resets. However, this time you'll still have that extended breakthrough active. So don't panic if all of a sudden all of your research goes away. Just try and build it up again as soon as possible. So, you have the extended breakthrough active now. It lasts for 15 seconds, so you want a way to keep this effect on the opponent indefinitely. That's where the special 1 comes in. Now what the special 1 does is it resets the duration of your 15-second breakthrough. This means that as long as you can land a special 1 every 15 seconds, you can keep your breakthrough effect active for the entire length of the fight. This is just one of the reasons why Otto is such a ridiculous power control champion, because once he gets the special 3 off with the power lock active, the opponent is almost never gaining power again for the rest of the fight. It's even easier to cycle special 1s with an awakened Doc Ock, because he steals a portion of the power that they would have got. And it's even easier against champions who have, let's say, Energized 2, which gives them triple power gain. You steal triple the normal amount of power you would normally steal. Now, you can cycle special 1s with the heal block active, but you still have to bait specials, which will reduce the time you have available to build your power meter. So I always go for the extended power lock. Now for the big boy, the special 2. This is not a special attack that I would recommend for new auto players. If you're still learning the basics of Doc Ock's research, I'd recommend practicing your heavy attacks, as well as the special 3 of the extended power lock, and the special 1 to constantly refresh it, because those will get you through most of your Doc Ock fights with ease. The special 2 I only recommend for more seasoned auto players and ones that want to squeeze even more value out of him. So what the special 2 does is it triggers the breakthrough effect of all research categories at 100, and resets the duration of every breakthrough to 3.5 seconds per category, currently at 100. Now this can sound very, very, very complicated, so let me explain it. So, you had the extended power lock from the special 3. All of your research will reset when the original breakthrough expires. So, your research will reset, and you have the extended power lock active. Now, if you want to go for the special 2, you're going to want to build up your 3 research categories back to 100 as soon as possible. This means parrying at least 3 times while the extended power lock is active to build up chemistry, as well as of course landing hits consistently enough to maintain research in biology and physics. Now, going for the special 2 is easier for a higher Sig Doc Ock, because he's able to steal more power, but it is still possible for a lower Sig 1. Now, after the special 3, I'd recommend throwing a few special 1s to get comfortable and try to throw them as late as possible. So you want to give yourself a chance to build as much power as possible. Once you start throwing a special 1 with at least 1.5 bars of power, you're probably close to going for a special 2. Now remember, and this is the most important thing, you need to keep all of your research topped off, which means parrying every 1 or 2 combos to keep up chemistry. Because of Doc Ock's insane block proficiency from his chemistry research, most if not all of these parries will deal 0 damage, unless you're fighting someone with strong block penetration. So, once you have your reset at 100, and you have your extended power lock active, you can throw the special 2. Now, what this will do is it will trigger a copy of all 3 of your breakthroughs, and they will last for 3.5 seconds per category, currently at 100. Because we're throwing it with all 3 categories at 100, all 4 of your breakthroughs, remember we got the first one from the special 3, will last for 10.5 seconds. Now this will actually give you a shorter window to cycle special 1s, but now you have 2 power lock debuffs active. And that actually doubles the effect from the Sig ability. You actually steal twice as much power as you did before. I will again reiterate that this is easier for a higher Sig Doc Ock, but still possible for a lower Sig 1, because his Sig scales quite poorly past Sig 20. Now, it doesn't actually say this in his abilities, but you can stack each breakthrough up to 3 times, for a total of 9 breakthroughs. Designating these with a heavy attack deals over 50,000 damage. That's what we saw at the start in that Havoc fight. But don't throw that unless you're sure you can end the fight, since that removes the breakthroughs and you'll have to start all over again with the base 5-second duration ones. I'll say it again, you need to have all your research maxed out whenever you throw a special 2, otherwise you have a good chance of letting all your hard work expire. So one of the best things about Doc Ock is that he never needs any synergies, ever. All of his value comes from his own abilities, and that in my opinion makes him even better. He does have a synergy with Ant-Man that allows him to start with 100 in chemistry. 60 from his Sig ability and then 40 extra from the Synergy. But you can easily just get that from parrying at the start of the fight, so this Synergy is almost useless for Doc Ock. Another one is with Electro, which resets all the research categories back to 50 when a breakthrough expires. Again, this is far from needed because Otto can regain his research really quickly, and once you're post Special 3, hopefully your extended breakthroughs won't be expiring. You have the option of using some War Machine pre-fights as well. Such as the support pre-fight. This gives you the chance to purify debuffs such as Double Edge, Liquid Courage, or like an Iceman Cold Snap. You can use the Fortify pre-fight to give Ock a bunch of energy resistance whenever he gains his Biology Breakthrough, because whenever he has his Biology Breakthrough active, he has a really strong armor up buff. So he will get energy resistance equivalent to that armor rating. You can also use the Skirmish pre-fight to extend the length of your power locks and heal blocks even further, but we know that Otto can quite comfortably refresh those debuffs at their normal length. Alright, so that covers Otto's abilities and synergies, but how are we going to use this guy to his full potential? Well, there's a couple standard methods to play this guy, so let's go over them. This is probably my favourite way to use Dr. Octopus, because the way it works is so unique to him, and you'll use this strategy to completely shut down fights in a way that over 95% of all champs can't. Now, there is one requirement when using this strategy: the opponent has to have some form of passive power gain, whether that's from a node such as Powerful from Afar, Spite, or Supercharge, or passive power gain from a champion's own abilities like Mangog, Havoc, Hyperion, or Doctor Strange. Now, this strategy alone is what makes Doc Ock such a ridiculously strong Havoc counter. So, the way this will work is at the start of the fight, you'll let the opponent gain power passively. And you'll notice that, of course, as they gain power, you'll be gaining physics research, because that's how physics works. Now, you want to make sure you don't parry before physics reaches 100, because that will trigger the heal block instead. You also don't really want to hit them much before physics reaches 100, or you may have a chance to activate the armor up breakthrough from biology. So the safest way to make sure the power lock applies is just back off at the start of the fight and let physics do the work. Once that power lock activates, you'll want to just start parrying and then heavying. Remember, if you detonate your breakthrough to the heavy, the research doesn't drop off, so your physics research will still be at 100 when you remove the power lock debuff. As soon as it's removed, it will immediately reapply itself, because the defender is trying to gain power again. Now, it's hard to notice this, but they will gain a tiny bit of power every time you throw a heavy and then let the power lock reapply itself. Meaning after some time the opponent will have a special one ready, so you'll need to be prepared for that. Now, if you're able to trap the opponent in the corner with your heavy attack, you may be able to chain a few heavies in a row, but only a few. Doc Ock's heavy has quite a lot of reach, but it also has some recoil associated with it, so if a heavy against the wall pushes you back too far, just try parrying and getting the opponent back against the wall again. This strategy is ridiculously powerful and also very fun. I'd urge you to try it out if you haven't already, because this is what Doc Ock is most famous for: his ability to completely shut down fights with annoying passive power gain better than anyone. You may have seen me use this strategy against a Rage Hyperion in Alliance War, because it's a very safe way to keep his power in check without having to rely on cycling special 1s or special 2s, which you would have to do with other champions and most likely trigger Rage. Okay, so this is probably the most common way to play Dr. Octopus, and it's the main strategy I've been using so far in the videos you've seen today. It's also a strategy I've used in Alliance War against many champions on the Aspect of Evolution and 200% power gain node, as well as node 25, which is Footloose and Kinetic Transference. And we've already covered how this strategy works, because it all revolves around this, Doc Ock's extended power lock, which he gets from the Special 3, of course. Now, you want to get to a Special 3 as quickly as possible, which you can do by throwing shortened combos interlaced with heavy attacks to keep the opponent power locked as much as possible before launching the Special 3, with the power lock active to create a 15-second duplicate. Now, so how you get to the Special 3 can be up to you, and as you get more comfortable with Ock, you may find yourself more comfortable doing a stand-up intercept after your heavy attack, which is it's actually quite easy to do with the Ox. It's similar to magic, but yeah, it takes some practice. So yeah, so we've got the 15-second duplicate now. After that, the fight's pretty much over, since all you have to do is throw a special one every 15 seconds. The opponent won't be gaining any more power unless they have a way to shrug debuffs or have some immunity to power lock. It's by far the safest way to use him. Of course, the extension to this strategy, which is what we're using now, is to start weaving in special 2s. This is possible against champions that have a normal power rate, but it is much easier against champions that would be gaining a bunch more power than normal, because you steal the same percentage. Now the special 2 hits much harder than the special 1 and allows you to completely heal block the opponent, as well as gain up to 3 armor buffs, giving you a slow but safe way to counter buffed up even. So those are the 2 standard ways to play him. But now, let me show you how we can put all of Ox abilities together in a bunch of different fights. Okay, so what we have here, this is Act 6, Chapter 1, Quest number 5. This is a Red Hulk who has 1% regen. So we basically want to keep our heal block active as much as possible. And this quest also has power struggle, so we get a bar of power when he gets a bar of power. And it also comes with a poison node that's going to kill us over time. We do have willpower, so we're able to survive it, but and normally we would be life-stealing a bunch of the health that Red Hulk would be getting right now. But this is a really cool way to use Doc Ock. You know, we keep our chemistry topped off by parrying, keep that heal block on, and we're able to refresh even a 5-second duration heal block with the special 1. You don't have to just refresh the extended one with the special 1. And so he's going down really quickly. And this was a really fun Ock fight to record. So not the best showcase because with the lifesteal isn't working, but it's still a really cool way to use him. And this is a very difficult fight in 6.1. Okay, so I already showed this fight before, but I really want to show it again because it's such a cool matchup for Dr. Octopus. And it's by no means a quick fight. Well, I mean, it is quick once you get the heal block active, but it is a bit of a slow start getting, you know, to that first heal block up. So we're basically going to be incorporating the special 3 rotation, going for a special 1 and then the special 2. So we want to get that extended power lock, which we will get soon. We're just going to tap into block, I think. Oh no, we're just landing a couple hits. And there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw the special 3 right before the first breakthrough expires. Because that means as soon as the special 3 ends, our research will be ready to reset again and build up again. Instead of resetting midway through our combo. And we're still easily able to get back to the special 1. Obviously, like I said, it is easier for high sig, but it's still possible for lower sig. And we're able to actually to get to a special 2 straight away. That places the heal block on him. At the moment, we should be healing a bunch. So obviously that's not working, but I think with Despair, we're actually starting to reverse some of his healing a bit. From the extra power lock debuffs. So yeah, Doc Ock actually interacts really well with Despair right now. And yeah, at the moment Wolverine is just melting. It's been like 30 seconds, he's already dropped halfway down. We get another special 2 down, that's going to place even more debuffs on him for even more heal reversal. And he's also really smooth to intercept with. That's one of the things I really like about Doc Ock. His animations are super smooth. Of course, we're nailing every perfect parry because we've got our chemistry research maxed out, as well as 2 armor up buffs. Remember, each armor up buff gives us over 2,000 armor. Yeah, super cool fight for Ock. Alrighty, now for a fight that Dr. Octopus was just built for. So this is the Havoc boss in 6.3. We started with a heal block because we had the Ant-Man synergy, because I was using Ghost before, but we got rid of that pretty quickly. So now we have the power lock on him. So what happens with Ock's power lock and Havoc is, remember, with this Sig ability, the power lock acts as power drain each time. So he gains a bit of power and then immediately gets drained. So every time Havoc would gain power when power locked, he gets power drain, and that gets rid of all his plasma. So even without an armor buff or a clear way to power drain, Ock is a ridiculous Havoc counter. And this guy also has I can't remember the exact name of the node, but it gives him an extra power gain every time he throws a special, and Ock just loves that because that's just more power for him to steal. That's what makes him so good against these kind of nodes, like similar aspect of evolution as well. So we got the extended power lock on. I'm really pissed at myself that I didn't solo this fight, but Ock just works so well for this because he's able to keep Havoc's power in check, as well as dealing a shit ton of damage. So we get a couple intercepts in. Our power meter is just going up and up and up. It goes up so quickly once you have a couple of power locks up. You see, we're almost gaining a whole bar of power in one combo. It's absolutely ridiculous now that we have 3 power locks on. And I think I just screwed up the end of this fight because I wanted to show off the heavy attack. I really should have just thrown maybe one more special one and then gone for the heavy attack to finish him off. You see, we are running suicides. Dr. Octopus is not a very suicide-friendly champion at all. So whenever I'm using him properly, I never run him with suicides, but I just wanted to see how much the heavy could do, really. So yeah, we just missed the special one there. That was completely my bad. Ock is an amazing option for this Havoc. In my opinion, the best option in the game. Okay, so now we're in Act 6, Chapter 2, Quest number 4. This is the Destructive Feedback chapter. We're going to show a few fights here. Now, they're not perfect fights. I do make quite a few mistakes, but we're coming up against a Hyperion first. Doc Ock is an amazing Hyperion counter. You might have seen a few of my fights against him in War. I did die once, but that was just my bad because I was triggering rage too much. But the way he's able to just completely prevent him from gaining power for 5 seconds at a time before the special 3 is really good. And of course, once you have that extended power lock, the fight's just over. The fight's just pretty much over. Now we do have destructive feedback to worry about, so when that orange shield is up, we don't want to parry at all, or obviously get hit, because that would give us back a bunch of damage. But yeah, Hyperion is just stuck at 0 power right now, and we're stealing a bunch of it, which is really cool. And yeah, it's just insane how quickly Ock can take control of a fight like this. Some would argue that Doctor Doom or Ghost is a better option here, but I still find Ock to be the fastest, and maybe not the fastest, but definitely the funnest. And the smoothest. So yeah, we just missed a parry there, but it's not a big deal. We still had our armor from biology, so that prevented the damage by a bit. We could safely parry there because the shield just came on, so he didn't actually have any damage stored up in it. And we just do a little special one intercept, and that's it. That's lights out for Hyperion. Okay, so later on in the path we have a Mordo. So this is a bit of a trickier matchup for Dr. Octopus, since obviously we can't, punish him when he's stunned. But Mordo does a great job at power locking himself against Ock, so it's very easy to get to our special 3 before he gets to his special 3. Obviously he does go quite a bit passive whenever he has the power gain buff, but you see that the power lock automatically applies itself there, and we don't go for the special 1 right now, we just want to go for the special 3. And so against most champs he would be at a special 3 right now, but with Ock we power locked him automatically, and now he throws a special attack, and we can throw ours in a sec once we have that power lock back on. And And there we go. We use that extra power steal to get up to a special 3. And just like the last one, the fight's pretty much over now. We have so much control now once we get to that first special 3. And I think we do slip up at one point against this guy. But the point is that Doghawk really is super powerful against champs that power gain is an issue for, especially. And you know, he doesn't hit the hardest in the world, but you know, he's still got a decent attack rating. Like, it's over 4,000 at the moment, which is a permanent thing. Like, not many champs have permanently 4,000 attack rating as a 5-star. Alright, so one more special one gets him down to 10%. And we're trying to get him down before the shield wears off. But we just miss it, and he is stuck on 2% health. But we've got to wait that out, and then he'll be down. There we go. So it took a bit of damage there again, but that's not the point. The point is that Doghawk's amazing. Okay, so the last fight we'll quickly showcase is this Doctor Strange. This Doctor Strange has triple power gain, and he's on a node. He's on a path where you need 3 science 5-star champs, so there really isn't that many good options for this guy, especially combined with destructive feedback. You know, your typical petrify options like Mr. Fantastic and Captain America aren't the best. Void can work, but it's very sketchy because you got to be lucky with the petrifies. So Doghawk is probably the best option in the game for this guy. You know, him or Ghost. So it is a bit annoying getting that first special 3 because of destructive feedback. You know, we're not able to consistently just parry heavy. But we dodged the special 2. There's no danger of him going to the special 3 because he stays so much of the fight power locked. And it just gives him it gives us so much time to bait out a special attack if we need to. Alrighty. So we get to that special 3. We haven't taken any damage in this fight, really. Did have to deal with a few special attacks, but it's not as many as we normally would have to deal with most champs. So we did accidentally parry there, which transferred all that damage back to us. So I shouldn't have parried there. But I didn't expect him to throw that light attack. But you know, he would be gaining so much power at this point, especially with in his power gain mode right now. It's ridiculous. So, and he's just sat at 0 power pretty much for the entire fight now. It's just really cool. Okay, and I think we could have gone for a special 2 even there to make this fight go even quicker, but you know, we're just going to go for the special ones, I think, for the most part. Missed that stand-up intercept there, but because I mean, some of the time we can get it, but some of the times we are a bit late there. And there he goes down. So I really wish I could just showcase more fights of this guy today, because you know, there's so much he's good for, but there is a point where it becomes a bit repetitive seeing the same stuff over and over again. But you know, because the idea is similar in most fights. There is a set rotation that you want to go with. But you know, you're seeing in that Red Hulk fight, we can modify his research to do really cool things. But you know, I don't want to make this video really long, but I really hope that you've learned something today from Doghawk. I hope that you can start to appreciate how insanely powerful he is, how effective he is as a champion, how unique his power control is, and you know, why you should be ranking him up. If you haven't already, rank this guy up, man. If you haven't invested 6 stones into him and you think you should, definitely. If you want to become a serious auto player, get the 6 stones up into him. He loves them. They're not as valuable as SIGs into like Guardian or Ghost or whatever, but they're still good to put into him. So yeah, he's a really cool. This is why he's my favorite champion in the game. He has been ever since he came out. He's just such a I think he's been misunderstood. Not misunderstood, just not completely appreciated by everyone. I know a few people that love him just as much as I do, but I really hope this brings more people into the Doc Hawk fan club, because we will welcome you with open arms. But yeah, that's going to do it for me today. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something and have fun using this guy. Alright, peace out, guys.